Welcome back to the Viking Code School demo for Asynchronous Node JS. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at how we can output an error message in case things go wrong in our promise. So the way that we do that is with something called resolve and resolving and rejecting. So when I create a new promise, so in this example, I'm actually going to be instantiating a promise using the promise constructor. So we have the function resolve, reject, and basically what happens with resolve and reject is that resolve, that's a function that you call and you pass in a value when everything goes right. And then reject is the same thing. It's a function, but you, instead of passing in the value when everything goes well, this is the function that you call and you pass in the value when things go wrong. So so you can see by the name of my variable here that the purpose of this promise is going to be to see if a number is even, or in this example, actually, we're just going to be using the time. So what we're going to do is we're just going to call date.now to get the current time, and we're just going to test to see if it is even or not. So if it is even, we're going to resolve even, and if it's not, we're going to reject odd. So this is just like a very simple example to see like how this works. There's a couple ways that we could use this actually. So one way that we could use the resolve and reject results is that we could chain the then, and then it takes the first parameter is the callback that you want to fire when things go well. So this will pass in the value from your resolve. But the second parameter is also a callback that will be the parameter passed in here will be the value of the rejected value. So here, I'm going to console log the result, and here I'm going to console error the error. Pretty straightforward stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and run this, and we see that we got odd because at that particular time the time in milliseconds was odd. Let's see if we can catch an even. There we go. We got an even. So yeah, basically this is one of the ways that you can get to the resolve value and the rejected value. Another way that you can do this, which actually I actually kind of like it better because I think it's a little bit more straightforward and I like the syntax better, is to chain on catch. So same thing, we could say function result. This is our resolve, right? So we can console log here result. But then instead of chaining another then, we chain catch. So if you've ever seen try catch, which looks like this, try catch, and then you run some code in here. If it throws an exception, then like this block gets run. If you've ever seen this will make a lot of sense. So we have a call to catch here, and we pass in a function callback just like we do with our then call. And this is only going to handle rejection cases, meaning that it's never going to fire for resolving. It's only going to fire when reject is called or an error is thrown. So that makes error handling pretty easy with promises. So we're going to output that error. So let's run that again. So yeah, another thing to note is that if you throw an error, this will also fire the catch. So if an error gets thrown inside the then call that you chained onto the promise, that will also trigger the catch. So trigger the catch. There we go. So we can see here that it didn't get called before. We didn't trigger that catch, but as soon as the even got called here, we threw that error and it triggered the catch call. So that is how to chain then and catch onto your promises to gain access to resolved and rejected values.